another video. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Right? You know, a strong shalom, brothers and sisters out there doing the work, laboring and magnifying the name of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, making your bodies a living sacrifice. Right? I'm gonna get straight into this video. You know, just pushing people and exhortating people to not give up. You know, no matter how many times you fall, right? We almost there. Right? Don't fall away to the from the truth in the last days. Don't fall away to these seducing spirits. Right? You got a lot of people that going back to the world smoking weed, being whores, being whoremongers, right? Just giving up on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? When the time is almost up, right? They see the prophecies coming to pass. They see everything that's going on, right? And they're giving up. They're falling away. They stop watching. They stop reading. They stop praying. They stop doing anything to labor for the Lord, right? And they just go completely back into the world, right? So I want to get this quick precept in Matthew, the 24th chapter. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew 24 and verse number 32, right? It says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors." Right? So, you know, when you start, the same way you know when the leaves is growing on a tree, you know, flowers start blooming and you know, flourishing, right? It's the same thing when you see these prophecies rolling past, right? You know that we close to the last days, right? The same way you're going to look and you're going to see these flowers and these leaves growing, you're going to know that the summer is near. Right, we know that the last days is near, so it should be pushing you to go harder for the Most High. It should be pushing you to strive for perfection, right? No matter how many times you fall, right? You got to get back up. You got to have faith, right? The Lord is rich in mercy. You can't give up. You can't faint, right? That's what this is going into, right? We're not fainting, right? We're not going to fall away, right? We're not going to, you know, give in to our flesh and say, you know what? I don't want to serve God no more. I failed too many times. I can't serve God no more. Right? Let me get this quick precept. And that doesn't mean just go off as much as you want, but it's gonna happen, right? You're gonna fall, right? But I want to grab these two quick precepts, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 14, and we're gonna start at verse number 2. Right? It says, "Blessed is he whose conscience has not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord." Right? So you don't want to fall from your hope in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You don't want to fall away from the truth, right? Because your conscience is condemning you because you forgot about the mercies of the Lord. You forgot about the works of the Lord. You forgot about how great he is and how powerful he is and how he could raise you up or how he could bring you low, right? That's why it's important, right, to always remember these things, right? Because you'll know when the Lord can bring you down, right? Because if you remember when the Lord will bring you down, you're not going to get prideful enough to do certain things, right? That's just how it's going to work, right? But let me get this quick precept in 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse number 1. All right, this is 1 Timothy 4 and 1. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." Right, and that's what's happening right now, right? People are falling away from the truth to all these seducing spirits. Right, they're giving up on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Like, he can't turn any of their issues around. Like, he can't just make everything a complete, 360. Right, like, he can't change things around. Right, the Lord can do whatever he wants. You might be going through something. You might deal with certain spirits just to strengthen you up and build you up so that you can learn how not to do it again. Right, that's how the Lord works. Right, he's teaching you lessons. Right, he's giving you understanding. Right, give you experience, right, so that you could be a better man, that you could be a better woman, a better child, a better servant, a better brother, a better sister, whatever the case may be. But you don't want to fall away and condemn yourself, right, in these last days, right? It's not time to give up right now. It's not time to draw back and say, I want to be back in the world, right? Let me grab this quick precept in 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. Right, it was a few precepts I was thinking about, right? But let me grab this real quick again. Hebrews actually 10 and verse number 34. Right, I got a few accounts I want to just go into through the Spirit, right? Because even Paul knew this. Paul was teaching the the churches, right? How rich the Lord was in mercy, right? And grace, right? And even Paul went through things, right? He had a thorn in his flesh, right? We're going to go into all of that, all right? This is Hebrews 10, and we're going to start at verse number 32. We're going to start at verse 32. It says, but call to remembrance the former days in which, after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions, right? So you got to call to remember the former days. You got to remember the days of your fathers, right? You got to look at these accounts and remember when the Lord allowed our people to fight, allowed our people to prevail amongst their enemies, amongst these demons, right? How the Lord, helped men, overcome the battle, man, right? So that you could endure a great fight of afflictions, right? He helped them endure a great fight of afflictions. You're an Israelite too, right? He's not going to just leave you hanging, right? Unless you just lose faith, right? If you lose faith, then you can't endure a great fight of afflictions, right? That's what you in this truth for, to endure a great fight of afflictions. All right, it says, partly was ye were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly was ye became companions of them that were so used. For ye had compassion of me and my bonds, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and an enduring substance. Cast not there away, therefore, your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. Right? So you can't be you can't be casting away, your confidence, meaning your hope and your faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? That's got a great reward behind it. Having faith has got a great reward behind it. And if you giving up on that faith and that confidence, right? Hey, you good as dead. Right? You're good as dead. Right? You better off in the world. Right? You better off not having known the truth, right? You better off not even knowing this thing, right? Not even coming into this thing, not even getting the knowledge, right? This is verse 36. It says, for ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise, right? Because it's all about patience at the end of the day, right? It's not, how fast and how mighty you could be, right away as soon as possible. Right, this is the long game. You don't know when the Lord gonna return. Right, you gotta play the long game and endure through many afflictions, through many temptations. Right, you're gonna fall. You're gonna come short of the glory. Right, but it's about what you're gonna do the next time you come across that same battle. Right, it says, for yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. Right? So the Lord is not dealing with a man that's drawing back and going back to the world. Right? Why would you want to go back to the world? What's in the world? I mean, who's in the world for you? Right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai not in the world to deal with you. Right? This is all Satan. Right? This is all the so-called white man. This is all the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. Right? This world is not of the Father, man. Right? So there's nothing in this world that you should even be willing to draw back to. Right? Because the Lord is not having pleasure in that. The Lord is not dealing with that. Right? It says, but we are not of them who draw back. It says, but we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. Right? But you don't want to be of them who draw back into perdition, meaning destruction. Right? Because everybody that's fallen out of the truth, right? Yeah, it's possible that the Lord can have mercy on their soul and bring them back, right? But hey, most of the people that fall back into the world, they draw back, they backslide, and they don't come back into the truth. It's only of the Lord's mercy if they do, right? But hey, if they don't, hey, they're going into perdition. They're gonna die, right? They're gonna suffer destruction, right? We want to be of them that of the saving of the soul. We want to be of the elect, woman, children, man, and child, right? That's what we want to be of, right? There's no reason, anything here in this, it's nothing left, right? It's no different clothes, no cars, no money. It's nothing that you should want, right? You should be fantasizing of the glory of the kingdom, right? Hey, sometimes when you think of that stuff, right, that stuff will continue to push you. That stuff will continue to, get your mind right. We all got to do a better job at, thinking of these things, right? Fantasizing of the glory, right? Fantasizing of being with the Lord, right? Let me go ahead this quick precept, right? I actually want to get to it, and I'm gonna get these other precepts first. All right, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. All right. I'm gonna start at verse number 5. Right? It's this 2 Corinthians 12:5. It says, "Of such and one will I glory. Yet of myself I would not glory, but in mine infirmities. But for though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool. For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think me above that which he seeth to me to be, or that he heareth of me. And lest I should be exalted above measure, though the abundance of the revelations there was given to me, a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me. Lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice that it might depart from me." Right? So Paul said he had a thorn in his flesh. He had some spirit that was just afflicting him, that was troubling him all the time. Right? But did he give up? Did Paul just say, you know what? This thorn, I gotta take it out. I gotta take the pain out. No, he endured it. Right? That thorn in the flesh didn't leave him, right? Because he continued to endure. He continued to have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and understood that this life wouldn't get any much easier, right? But that when he gave up the ghost, right? Hey, he'd be at peace, right? That's what we want, right? And he said he besought the Lord thrice that it might depart from him. I mean, he was praying constantly, right, to overcome these demons, right? You might be praying, damn, a million times to overcome a lust demon, a hatred demon, a prideful demon, a slothful demon, right? A jealous demon, right? Whatever demon they may be, you might be praying a million times to overcome it, and that the Lord helps it depart from you. It might not depart from you yet, right? The Lord needs you to go through that, because if you don't, you might start to exalt yourself and start to become prideful, right? It's not a good thing to have spirits on you, right? But these spirits, right? If you're truly in this faith, right, it's gonna humble you and know that the Lord could sift you out at any time. The Lord could plague you at any moment. It's gonna keep you humble, right? And that's what it did to Paul. That's why he said, "Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations," right? Because Paul had all the understanding. He had all the breakdowns, right? He knew, right? The Lord came to him in the visions, right? The Lord, was dealing with Paul on a high level, right? People was trying to worship Paul when you read the book of Acts. Right? People was literally trying to worship Paul like he was some kind of god. Right? So, hey, if he didn't have this thorn in his flesh, right, those things could have got to him, and he probably would have just been, prideful as hell. Right? And then he would have had to fall away. Right? But the Lord sent that to him, right? So it could be the same thing that you're going through, right? But the Lord, he got you going through it to get you to understand that you got to be humble, that you can't be prideful, right? That you got to continue to endure, and that you got to continue to fight. Because a lot of people, they get on fire, then that's when they start to slack. Then when they get off of, when that fire is gone, then they trying to get back on fire, serving the Most High God. Right? When we go through, as humans, right, when we go through afflictions, that's when we want to serve the Lord. Right? That's when we want to come back to the Most High God and serve Him 10 times more. Right? We got to get into the mindset of, no, I got to do this, constantly, right? I got to constantly serve the Lord, right? Day in and day out, right? I can't just give up, right? I can't just serve the Lord when I'm doing bad and not serve Him when I'm doing good, right? It's actually a precept on that, right? Let me organize my precepts real quick before I, lose them, right? The ones that I, coming up the spirit, right? All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 11, real quick. And we're going to start at verse number 25, right? This Sirach 11 and 25 says, "In the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity." Right? So in the day of prosperity, people forget, the things that the Lord put them through. Right? They forget how low the Lord had brought them. They forget those spirits that was troubling. They forget that, that time their wife had left them, that time they lost their job, the time they was going to lose their house, the time when all hell was breaking loose in their life, right? Because now they, the Lord, blessed them, right? The Lord gave them what they need, right? And they forget the Lord, right? We can't be in that mindset, right? We got to constantly remember, because it's gonna happen, right? You got to constantly remind yourself, hey, I got to serve the Lord today, no matter what it is, right? You got to thank the Lord. You got to serve Him as hard as you can, right? Even if you at your lowest, right? Try to put forth your best hand, right? Because the Lord sees that, right? And then it also says, in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. And then you have some people, when they're going through affliction, they forget the works of the Lord. They forget the Lord could bring them and exalt them higher than anything, right? They forget all the prosperity that the Lord has given, all the blessings, all the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, the gift, right? They forget everything, right? So you don't want to be in that mindset, right? Let's keep reading. It says, for it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end his deed shall be discovered. Right? So, affliction just for a tiny second can make a man forget Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Just look at our people in the wilderness. Being afflicted, having to walk through that wilderness for 40 years. They forgot about the Lord. They said, let's go. We want to go back to Egypt. Then they worshiped they was worshiping a golden calf. Then some of them had to die, man. A lot of them had to die. Right? Because they forgot the Lord. Now we can't be like that, or hey, the same thing can happen unto us. Right? But let me get this quick precept in 1 Peter chapter 5. And we're gonna start at verse number 6. Actually, we're going to start at verse number 5. It says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Ye, all of you, be subject unto one to another, and be clothed with humility. For Yahweh resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time. All right, so we got to remember to humble ourselves before the Most High. Then he'll exalt us. Then he'll give us the glory. Then he'll give us whatever it is that we need, right? He'll give you the things that you're praying for and that you're asking for, right? But we got to humble ourselves under his hand and let his will be done, right? You can't go off course, right? And try to force the course of a river and trying to do your own thing. It's not going to work, right? Well, I've tried it, right? I've tried it. I try to go and do my own thing. The Lord sit me down on my behind, man, right? And he made me listen up. He made me pay attention. Right? And then that's when you start to realize, hey, gotta let the Lord will be done. Right? I actually got a precept on that. I gotta find it real quick. Should be Sirach, the 4th chapter. Right? We could get that, right? This Sirach 4 and verse 26. Right? It says, be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of a river. Right? Because people start to try to swim against the what's that stuff called? Right, the current, right? People try to swim against the current, right? Instead of just letting it flow, right? You're not gonna make it through that. You're not strong enough to swim through the current, right? When that water is, just flowing, and when that water is just going and going and going, and you trying to go that way, you're not gonna make it. You're not strong enough to get that water. Is strong as hell, so it's gonna push you away, and you're gonna fall down that damn waterfall. You ain't gonna die, right? So you just gotta let the will of the Lord be done, right? This is 1 Peter 5 and 7. I'm gonna actually start at verse 9. It says, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplishing your brethren that are in the world. But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. Right? So, after you're going to suffer a while, right, the Lord is going to strengthen you. He's going to establish you. He's going to make you perfect. If you humble yourself, right? If you cast all your burdens and all your cares upon the Lord, right? If you trust in him, if you have faith, right? Because we in the last days, and people are trying to force the course of the river, and then they fall they fall down the waterfall, and they end up just splat against a boulder, right? Completely gone out of the truth, right? So you got to remember, hey, if I just continue to be in the spirit, right? No matter, what I'm going through, if I continue to remember the Lord and remember what he can do, right, everything will be all right. Right? I'm actually glad at verse 7. Right? It says, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Right? The Lord cares for you. Right? The Lord knows what you need. The Lord, knows what's gonna help you and what's not gonna help you. The Lord knows what to remove out of your life, and the Lord knows what to add in your life. Right? So you just gotta, cast all your care upon him and serve him. Right? This is, we're gonna grab this quick precept in the Sirach, chapter 39. I'm actually grab a few precepts on that same thing. Right? Right. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 33. It says, all the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say this is worse than that, for in time they shall all be well approved. Right? So it said all the works of the Lord are good. So everything the Lord does is perfect. It's just. It's properly balanced, right? It says, and for in time they shall, it says, he will give every needful thing in due season. So he'll give you the kingdom in due season if you endure. He'll give you that job. He'll give you, that increase in the spirit, right? He'll give you whatever it is that you need, right, in due time, as long as you don't forget those works of the Lord. If you don't fall from the faith, right? Because a lot of people that was, a lot of people that fall from the truth that I know personally, right, they was lacking in something. They wanted something, they couldn't get it, so they went to go do their own thing, right? And now they smoking weed again. Now they buying prostitutes. Now they freaking off, right? Because they just couldn't show that patience. They just couldn't wait, right? They just couldn't be like, you know what? It ain't gonna work. The Lord has sat me down on my behind, 7+ times, and hey, let me just sit back and wait on the Lord, right? It says, and therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of Yahweh. Right, that's plain. Right. I want to get another precept on that. Right. Let's go to Matthew 6 and verse number 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Right? So you want to seek the kingdom of Yahweh first. You want to seek his faith and his righteousness. Right? That's what you want to seek first. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Nothing else. Right? Because when you start to seek other things, more things, it's going to bring you trouble. Right? So we got to remember that patience and that faith is what's going to, help us get to where we need. It's going to help us get the kingdom. It's going to help us endure until the end. Right? So just don't, brothers and sisters, don't fall away from the truth, man. Right? Continue to remember the works of the Lord, right? Continue to remember, the prophecies. Continue to watch, right? Continue to pray and fast if you can, right? Do what you got to do, right? I want to get a quick precept in 2 Timothy. Right, we're going to get a few more and we're going to wind down. Right, we're going to get 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse number 2. Right, it says, preach the word, be instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they shall not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Right, so people going to fall away from the truth, right? Because they got itching ears, right? They won't endure sound doctrine. They won't be in this faith anymore, right? Because they're going to go after their own lusts. They're going to go after what their ears want to hear. They're going to go after those things that sound good to them, right? And that's pleasing to them, right? But they're not going to actually serve the Most High God anymore, right? Verse 4, it says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. Right? So you gotta be watching in all things, right? You gotta be enduring the afflictions. You gotta continue to be patient, right? Because like James the first chapter says, right? Roughly paraphrasing, right? Your patience and your faith is, just working together, right? It's working together, right? you know, all the afflictions and temptations you go through is a trial of your faith. Right? So you might fall one time, you might fall 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, right? But then you get back up, right? And continue in the faith, right? And you'll be all right. All right. The worst thing you could do is just, you know, say, I just give up, right? It's been too hard. I've been trying. And you just say, you know what? I'm done with this truth stuff, man. I'm gonna go just do whatever, live however, and just live according to my lust. Hey, I couldn't fight no more. Right? Don't do that. Right? It says, for I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Right? So Paul said, hey, I have fought a good fight, and I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith. That's the spirit, right? That we want to move in. Right? We want to fight a good fight, man. How have you ever seen a boxer just, you know, give up, right? Right, he gonna, right? If he lose that fight, right? If he a real, right? If he a beast, man, he gonna fight until he die, man. In that ring, right? A lot of these boxers, right? They don't be wanting to give up, right? They don't be wanting to wave in the towel. That be their corner guy. That be the ref saying, you know what? He getting beat up, man. Right? You don't want to be like those refs that just throwing in the towel, right? You gonna fight this fight, you know, whether you die, right, or you win, man. Right? Talking about the truth, right? That's what you want to do, right? You got to finish your course. None of these things that come against you should move you, like Acts, the 20th chapter and the 24th verse says, right? Let's keep reading. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but to all them that love his appearing. Right? So he said, I got a crown of righteousness, right? For me, right? For the things that he was doing, right? He said, not only for me, right? But for all those that love the Lord, right? All those that love his appearing, right? So all those men, right? All those women, all those children, right? That endured and fought a good fight, they got a crown of righteousness. That should push you along, right? To watch and continue to endure this fight, right? Because you already know what to expect. You already know it's gonna get hard. So it should just already push you, right? To remember, hey, if I get through this, right, I got an everlasting crown of righteousness, right? That I could put on top of my head for forever, for all eternity, right? Because you're gonna go back to this world, and you're gonna get a reward of, you know, evil. You're gonna get a reward of unrighteousness. All right, let's get that real quick. Then we're gonna close out. 2 Peter, right? Right. Everybody gonna get a reward according to their doings, right? Actually, I think I want to get the one in Revelation. All right, yeah, I'm gonna get the one in Revelation real quick. All right, this is Revelation 22 and verse number 12. All right, it says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Right, so the Lord's gonna reward everybody. Right, he's gonna reward the righteous, and he's gonna reward the wicked according to what the works will be. Now that reward that you're gonna get if you're wicked, it's not gonna be a true reward. You're gonna get put to death. Or you're gonna die in these last days, man. Or you're not gonna be able to, you know, get crowned with righteousness because you fell out the truth. No, you're gonna get put to death, you're gonna get slain. Right? In these last days. Or I'm gonna get it actually in 2 Peter. Right? I think it's 2 Peter 2 and 13. So I'm gonna start at 2 Peter chapter 2, I'm gonna start at verse 12. I'm gonna get straight to it. It says, but these as to be taken and destroyed. I'm gonna start at verse 10. This is chiefly them that walk after the flesh and the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Right? So don't be self-willed, like I was saying before, trying to force the course of a river. Right? We're gonna drop down to verse 12. It says, but these as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness. Right? So the wicked is going to receive a reward of unrighteousness in the last days. Right? They're going to get a reward too. Right? Men that fall out the truth, because that's what this is going into. Right? When you read on, you know, it's talking about, you know, men that was teaching, men and, you know, high renown, whatever the case may be, right? And then men that fall away from the truth, right? and they're gonna receive a reward of unrighteousness by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in the last days, right? So continue to push and continue to fight, right? Continue to endure, right? Let me get this last closing precept, right? Sirach 4 and verse number 28. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. Right? So, I just exhortate brothers to continue, sisters to continue, children to continue to, strive for the truth unto death, man. Right? If you want to see how Bashem Yahushai come back, if you want to be, in the kingdom of heaven, you want a crown of righteousness, right? You want to be the elect, right? You want to have everlasting life, right? Strive for the truth unto death, right? But with that, I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bashem Mashiach Malaki Yahushai. Shalom.